Illuminated Carnival is about creating two community engagement projects that span through Mossley and in Tameside.
The project is an opportunity for 7 artists who've never met to take the lead into carnivals and produce something really exciting.
So we're working together to create 3 large structures for the Mossley Light Festival, and also to create at least 3, hopefully more, for the Tameside Winter Carnival.
So I've worked with 2 other people before. 5 of the others are strangers, though less so today.
We actually have a diverse skill set between us. So we've got a jewellery maker, a graphic designer, someone who's worked with some top lantern making companies.
And it's interesting for me as well because the whole carnival experience is completely new. I've never done anything, I've never worked in a field like this before.
As an artist, I've spent a lot of time in a studio on my own, but now it's kind of nice being in that sort of collaborative, and that's going to be the case for the next 3 months, so that's exciting.
Now we are discussing themes, specifically for the Tameside event, because we've got a lot more creative freedom on that one.
We're looking at old fairy stories about boggarts and black knights and things like that. It might be quite good to put in 3D.
I think that it's always important when you embark on a new project to look at the work of other people who work in that sector, because there will be something there that will inspire you to become your own individual artist.
I feel a bit blown away today because we've seen so much good stuff. Almost itching to get on with it, really. It's all going well so far.
The story given as a brief was the story of 2 giants who were fighting over the affections of Rimmon the water nymph.
As the story goes, Alphen is the one who wins Rimmon's heart,
Which resulted in them throwing lots of rocks at each other and forming the 2 hills on the edge of Saddleworth Moors, which are now called Alphen and Alder.
Alder threw a massive rock at Alphen, and Alphen was no more.
And then she kills herself because he's lost the battle. It's all quite sad.
Apparently that's what happened anyway.
So the puppet I've got is Rimmon this water nymph. So I work in quite a few different materials. We have a backpack which is made from metal. Our face is going to be sculpted from clay, cast in a very thin fiberglass resin. We're using foam rope, we're using net fabrics, we're using all kinds of things.
I've made a few costumes this size before, but it's really interesting because every one of them is always totally different. You always learn something new.
I'm making Rimmon's hair. So these little spirals will travel down her back. But these are going to be covered in sparkly fabric to make it look more watery instead of just plain white.
I've been working on the hands, soldering the sprung wire and galvanised wire, which is really fun, but tricky and hurts your hands. I think we're kind of getting past the point now of not wanting to tell someone how to do something. They kind of just, I'm like, tell me how to do it, please.
So it's primarily been done by Mel, who's our sculpture expert. In costume making, I'm used to sort of quite traditional sort of Brazilian components. So making a big clay head is an entirely new terrain for me.
It's boat making construction really with this stuff, but Tony said if you make it really small, it becomes a model making technique rather than a big craft.
I'm making 2 giants with these, and then on top of that we'll use wet strength tissue, which is tissue which doesn't disintegrate when you put PVA glue on it.
So these are Mike Green's drawings of the giants, which we are working from. The final height is going to be 4.5 metres, and that's the tallest thing you can parade through the streets.
We've decided that Alphen is the sort of cuddlier, friendlier, fun-time guy, and Alder's ripped and mean.
So we've given him some nice big quads and some nice big calves because he's the kind of big strong giant.
This is Alphen. So I've made him a more rounded kind of shapes. The other one's a bit more angular. What I really like about it is it's kind of like drawing, really. You can take things off and put them on again, whereas with other techniques you can't alter it much.
I am working on Alphen's fist, which is supposed to be sitting just behind him. Because they're going to be stationary during the parade, we were just trying to give them a bit of variation in the shape so they're not just standing there with their arms down. It's my first ever time with a giant puppet, so yeah, quite special.
So we've moved on and are now working on the puppets for Tameside Winter Carnival. So me and Elise have been making the Rose Queen, and I've been making a face for 2 weeks now, I think. She was meant to be the biggest initially, yeah. She's now one of the smaller ones. She's meant to be quite sort of delicate, so we think it'll work quite well with her being a little bit smaller now.
This is the Rose Queen's torso. It's made from aluminium bar with his galvanised wire. So the Rose Queen has been a tradition for quite a while, and they still actually do it. I think it's mostly in Staley Bridge, but they have pageants. They dress up in quite big dresses, and then one becomes a Rose Queen.
So I've been working with Ali and Lizzie to make the boggart. It's going to be attached to the main pole by some bungee cord, so it will bounce as it's going down the street. So inside there's quite a big blank space, so they should be able to see through it when they're inside of it. Do you want to go inside the boggart? Cool, so this is inside of the boggart. There is quite a bit of visibility from the inside, so hopefully we should be able to see where we're going.
So these are the hands for the boggart, and the boggart's got lots of jewellery because he likes to steal shiny things. Still got to get the lights in, which is going to be a bit of a task, to be honest, because getting lights down these fingers is going to be interesting. The tadpoles that are going to go in here have only come today, so we wouldn't have been able to crack on with making stuff really. In hindsight, we definitely should have ordered the lights a while ago.
Mike, the tutor, left and we were all kind of, oh my gosh, now we're on our own. We had wire, we were waiting for everything else, so I just started making a big ball. Next thing, this happened. Initially, we researched the Tameside area for folk tales. In the book was the legend of the Droylsden boggart. Yeah, lots of different variations of how sinister the boggart is. Ours isn't. Ours is cheeky. We don't want to scare the children too much.
I am making the Dark Knight character that is accompanied by a very beautiful horse that Mel's making. And the Dark Knight is a character that's quite famous throughout Ashton, and that started a processional parade. Somebody would dress up as the Dark Knight and they would throw rotten food and earth at him. This guy, yeah, he's very big. But it seems to just be getting bigger and bigger and bigger every whenever I'm making anything. So this is going to be me. And then the head that I was just making on is obviously here. Hopefully it's gonna blow in the wind and be really great.
So this is Alphen and Alda. It was papered first and then muslin over the top, so it's a lot stronger. And then it's going to be varnished so it gets waterproof.
So yeah, this is Alda. He's got a bit of a receding hairline going on. And here, these are Alda's legs. And we have actually put lights in already, so they're pretty much good to go.
So at first we had some artists working with us on the Mosley Giants, but now for the Tameside one we had to do all the designing ourselves.
Yeah, it was a big transition, going from an assistant student type thing to, oh crumbs, now we have to make something that people are going to look at, and the weight of responsibility. Like me, for instance, accidentally ordered lights from China, which are going to get here after, after the parade.
We're not exactly on our own, but we're in charge now. And I think we all really, really want to make things that look amazing, that are going to wow people. So I think the pressure's on.
As part of this project, we are working with the community, teaching them lantern making skills so that they can make lanterns and come in the parade. They're actually a really important part of the parade, because you could have 4 giant puppets, but it wouldn't mean anything unless there was like a whole entourage of community with it. So I think there's about 120 workshops between the 7 of us. And what's been really cool about the Mosley workshops is that the adults have come in with the intention to also make something and be a part of it. So that's quite unusual, because often they'll be, I'll help my child, and then you kind of can talk them into it. But yeah, with the Mosley ones, the adults have come in, and the men too, the dads, which is really cool.
The workshops have gone really well. Everyone seems to be really excited about the parade. Most of them we've been doing in schools and with brownies and scouts, and there's been a couple of open ones.
I've never done any workshops before this, so it's been an interesting experience, especially the ones that have been really crazy and there's been a lot of kids.
I've been making a windsock, and you go like that. With gluing it, stapling it, sticking it, and drawing it.
There's like loads of people that help if you need help, and you can help other people. It's messy, creative, and yeah, it's really good fun.
Lots of lanterns will be expected.
In total we've made about 750. We're lantern pros. I'm really excited about the Light Festival.
I am pretty sure it'll be a really good turnout, and everybody seems really engaged with it and they seem really excited for it.
Everyone's gone.
Collaborations can often be tricky, especially if you get people who have very strong ideas about how they want things to go. But by some miracle, the other 6 artists are the most delightful people I think I've ever worked with.
Working with the other artists has been brilliant. It's one of the things that I was really looking forward to as part of this project.
It feels really good. I mean, we all work really well together. We work really closely side by side in the same studio, so it's nice to bounce ideas off everybody.
It's nice to look at different approaches people have and the ways they have at doing things, and kind of sharing them with each other to improve our practice and what we do.
Some of the things that I've learned I've never done before. I'm at uni at the minute, so I can take all of the things that I've learned into my final year.
It's been really interesting because we've come from all sorts of different backgrounds, all different ages. I think we all feel really lucky to just be given this opportunity.
I'm pretty sad about it coming to an end, to be honest. I've really enjoyed working with everybody, but we're hoping to do some more work together. We've already applied for a commission as a group, so we're hoping to continue this collaborative process and continue to help make each other better artists.